No, the title is not a lie. I did indeed see 7 West End shows in the span of 4 days. Anyway, this video is for me. Like, right off the bat, this video is for me because I want to talk about all the musicals I saw, and no one in my life wants to listen to me talk about all the musicals I saw, so I'm coming here. But I would like to say, before we really continue, a special thank you to my mother and sister for tolerating this trip. This trip was all me. Okay, like, this trip was fully for me. We went to London over Thanksgiving, and my sister hated like every second of it. My sister actively probably had the worst time she's had on a family vacation maybe ever, but she put up with me for it. She dipped for like a good 2 shows, but like I hit all 7. I had a great time. Anyway, I had to consider how I want to do this video for a minute because my original thought was I should talk about the musicals from my least favorite to favorite, and then I changed my mind. I decided we're gonna just go in the order that I saw them, and that's how we're gonna do it. I have a stack of playbills that I obtained in London. For the record, you have to pay for these in London. Insanity. I did buy all 7 because I'm dedicated. But yeah, we're gonna go in the order I saw the shows, and I'm just gonna run through, give you various thoughts on them. This is again, like, this is just for me. I just want to talk about it. You don't have to listen. Anyway, the first show I saw, my very beginning on the Wednesday, was Phantom of the Opera. Now, I'd never seen Phantom of the Opera before. Actually, should we find a way to set you up? Let's do that. Anyway, Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera was the first show I saw. It was the matinee of the Wednesday. And here's the thing. I'd never seen Phantom of the Opera before, okay? I was under the impression I knew the plot. I knew the plot of roughly the first 20 minutes. In my mind, the whole thing with, like, he takes, like, there's Christine and she's the ingenue and all that, and then he takes her down to the catacombs. I thought that was the climax. I was under the impression him taking her down to the catacombs was the climax. It happens like 15 minutes in. I was so wrong. I did know she, like, has her thing with Raoul, and I assumed, because in my mind, I assumed the way it worked is that, like, the entire time the Phantom is, like, there in the background while she's having this romance. Dead wrong. Dead wrong. So wrong. It was a fine musical. Here's my thing with Phantom of the Opera. I feel about this with a lot of things where I don't think it's bad. I think it's actually quite enjoyable if you're committed to it. The Masquerade song, very amusing. Just the concept of, because when you see it live, they're basically just shouting the word masquerade. Very amusing. But in my mind, I don't think it deserves, like, not the level of critical acclaim, but, like, isn't Phantom of the Opera, like, the highest selling musical of all time? In my mind, I saw better musicals on this trip. I put this in my ranking as, I believe, my 5th favorite of the weekend, or the week, I should say. And it's just, there are so many better shows that I feel like I was just underwhelmed. To be fair, I felt the same thing the first time I saw The Godfather. I've since rewatched it. I now enjoy it a lot more. So maybe I just need to see Phantom again. I don't live in a place where that's really an option, but we'll see. Show number 2 of my experience was The Lion King. Now, I had seen The Lion King, the musical itself, before. I've seen the film God knows how many times. And here's what I will say about The Lion King. The Lion King was my least favorite show that I saw. I think it was a very impressive show. I appreciate it more than I enjoy it because, like, the actual production was incredible. Like, the puppetry was amazing. I have beef with the Timon puppet. Here's the thing. Because, this is gonna sound insane. For, like, Simba and Scar and Mufasa, they're just, like, people. And they kind of look liony, but, like, you can tell they're people. And then, for some of the other characters, they were just, like, full-blown puppets. Like, Timon, full-blown puppet. I mean, not Timon, Pumbaa. Pumbaa was a full-blown puppet. Timon, I have beef with. He was a full-blown puppet. My beef is they had the actor, because you could see the actor, they had the actor in bright green, And I feel like it was better when they were in like the jungle setting. However, we first come across them in the desert, and this man is bright green. They could have just made him like the color of Timon. That was my one beef. Aside from that, here's the thing. Narratively, it's the narrative of The Lion King. I think they just really played up like the kid element of it. Like, again, I'm a 25-year-old. I did enjoy myself, don't get me wrong. But there were certain moments where I'm like, oh yes, of course, this is a show for children, and I am not child. So there were just a lot of the times it brought it down for me. Also, there's another show later on that I saw that is just the narrative of the film. And I think in this case, because especially The Lion King itself is a musical, it's essentially just a beat for beat remake. I can watch the movie and it'll low-key be a more enjoyable experience. Day 2, matinee of day 2 was Guys and Dolls. I'd never seen Guys and Dolls. I loved Guys and Dolls. Guys and Dolls was number 4 in the ranking, if you were wondering. I have ranked them all in my mind. This was number 4. Here's the thing. For people who don't know how London is doing Guys and Dolls, I'm going to explain it, okay? So it's essentially, the stage is in the middle. You're all sitting around the stage. There are seats. However, there's also the floor. And if you have like, I don't want to say floor seats, but like that's the best way to describe it. If you're on the floor, you're basically standing. The stage rises out of the ground. There's different platforms that form the different sets of stages and whatnot with what they need. And there are a bunch of people dressed as cops who move you around. And that was so cool. I had seats. For starters, I was going with my mother, who is 67, but also I'm old emotionally. My back is currently actually in like a lot of pain, but I did not want to stand for 3 hours straight. That sounded like hell on earth. So I did not do that. We had seats, but it was really like interesting to watch. It was actually really cool. Like 10 out of 10 for the actual like production itself, with the way they had the people moving around. Plus the music was fun. I knew a lot of the songs, like more songs than I expected. Story time. Who's ready for story time about Baby Simon? Baby Simon had a babysitter who was like an actress. She did musical theater. It's probably why I love musical theater, or at least a part of it. And she stopped babysitting for me when I was like, I think 6. But vivid memories. She made me and my sister like these little mixtapes. They were cassette tapes. For a frame of reference of the timeline of how young I was, they were cassette tapes. Like, it was not a CD. And it was a cassette tape full of musical theater songs. I know one of the songs from Hairspray was on it because I vividly remember seeing the Hairspray movie, recognizing the song. But there were, I believe, 2 songs from Guys and Dolls that were on there. I know one was Luck Be Late Tonight. What was the other one? I don't remember what the other one was, but there were 2 songs that I like vividly recognize. Was it the Anyone Can Develop a Cold song? I don't know. But there were 2 songs. And I recognized them immediately. And I was like, this is my childhood. Like, I love this. Plus, the music in Guys and Dolls is so fun. Like, I'm just a musical theater nerd. I know that about myself. Like, I love musical theater. But, like, the songs were so fun. I was actively jamming my little heart out in my little seat. The person next to me judged me at one point. Like, I was, like, bopping around having a good time, and they looked at me, and they were like... And I was like, leave me be. Like, I'm having fun. Let me have fun. But I had a great time to Guys and Dolls. I feel like if I didn't see... Like, because the thing is, 4 and up are the ones that, like, I really like. Like, I had a great time to my top 4. Guys and Dolls is number 4 because I had a better time at other shows. But this was still, like, if you are in London and you have a chance to see it, I would actually recommend this more than all but one of the shows that I saw. There's one I would recommend more than Guys and Dolls. My second most recommended show, like, that I would recommend to you is Guys and Dolls. It was incredible. Y'all, it's time for the peak. My favorite show that I saw was the Devil Wears Prada musical. I know it just opened in New York, which did give me a sense of great power, because, like, I got back from London, and, like, 2 days later, I was seeing tweets about, like, Donatella Versace seeing the Devil Wears Prada, and I was like, see, sorry, babes, I saw that, like, 5 days ago. So, like, I'm just better than you. But either way, this musical was the best thing I saw in London. I'm so serious. For starters, it is the movie. Like, it is similar to The Lion King in the sense that it is just the movie, The Devil Wears Prada, but they switched just enough of it. For starters, it's a musical. they added songs. And unlike The Lion King, the original is not a musical. Whilst I love The Devil Wears Prada, and I do prefer the movie over the musical, it was like it added something new. It wasn't just a beat for beat remake. On top of that, the songs were great. There were a good few that I was like, wait a minute, this is a banger. I'm mad. Actually, I haven't checked now that it's open on Broadway. I checked when I was in London. I was mad that I couldn't stream the soundtrack to The Devil Wears Prada. I would stream the shit out of it. It would be like ending up in one of my most streamed albums of the entirety of my Apple Music existence because the music was great. On top of that, they made one key change that I really like. I was talking to one of my coworkers about it actually. In the movie, her boyfriend, Andy's boyfriend, I don't know his name. I forgot it. But Andy's boyfriend is an asshole. I hate her boyfriend in the movie. I hate her friends in the movie. I hate all of them in the movie. In the musical, they kind of just made him a nice guy who cooks, and that's his entire character, and that's all he needs to be. And it's so much better. Like, he isn't an asshole. And that makes me enjoy him more because now, like in the movie, at the end, when she goes back to him, I'm like, no, girl. No, girl. We learned nothing because this man sucks and we hate him. In the musical, he's a nice guy. Like, he's a chill, nice dude who cooks. And that just makes it, like, now I'm supportive of her going back. I'm like, yes, girl, go get your relatively hot man. You deserve it. On top of that, I will say, actually, this was funny. This is not what I was going to say. Fun story. They had, like, a technical issue when I was there. Like, I was sitting in the theater, and they have the full blue sweater monologue, because of course they do. But right after that, it's a song. Like, Andy does a song about her blue sweater. They, like, had a technical issue in the song. I don't know what happened. This curtain came down. They were like, we're so sorry. Like, we'll be back in a minute. They came back. It was great. But that was just, like, it was a fun story for me. What I wanted to say, Vanessa Williams, she plays Miranda. And she was phenomenal. She was incredible. I'm a stan now. I know like 8 things about her, one of which is that she got caught eating a girl out, and now the other is that she's a legend and an icon and played Miranda Priestley. Because she was amazing. She was phenomenal. Also, the guy who played Nigel was really good. A lot of the cast was really good. The girl who played Andy, gorgeous voice. The girl who played, why am I suddenly forgetting her name? Her name is Emily. In my mind, I was like, no, her name can't be Emily. I'm thinking of the actress, Emily Blunt. No, her name is Emily. I don't know how I forgot that. Anyway, the girl who played Emily, iconic. Iconic and phenomenal. Also, the fun part to me, because she's British in the canon, she was British in the musical, it's in London. I'm operating under the assumption that most of the cast in real life is British, and we're just putting on American accents. That's what I thought with Guys and Dolls. It's just, that's my assumption, so I find that amusing. But also, last thing, I have one more thing to say about this musical, and then I promise I'm done. There was this one extra. I could have found his name. I just had the book open. I put it down, and we're not going back. There was this one extra. Have you ever watched something and you just know that person is having the time of their life performing? Like, the absolute unabashed greatest time. Like, more fun than I will ever have. That was this one extra. This one extra had... Stay. Okay. Where what? Oh, right. That extra. I need you to know this has fallen down like 3 times since I tried putting it back up. That extra. Time of his life. Like, he was having more fun than I will ever have in my entire life, and I've accepted that, and it elevated my experience. Like, I would see him having such a great time, and I'd be like, yes, let's go, like, let's have fun. It was just, actually, I lied, there's one more thing I need to talk about. The costumes, incredible. I would love to know the costume budget of this musical, mainly because I'm an accountant and I'm nosy, but, like, the outfits were amazing. Like, again, it makes sense. It's The Devil Wears Prada. But, like, it was just all, it was, I don't want to say the greatest performance I've ever seen in my entire life in terms of a musical, but it was like, I think there's one musical I still like more than The Devil Wears Prada, And that's it. The Devil Wears Prada outperformed Wicked in my mind palace. Wicked was my favorite musical forever. We'll get to Wicked. She's actually next. But like, this was life-changing. Okay, it's Wicked time. Here's my things with Wicked. I love Wicked. Like, the musical, it's not my favorite anymore. I think one has just like consistently been up there, and now The Devil Wears Prada. This is my third favorite show I saw. I do think as a musical, I've seen Wicked so many times. I've seen Wicked live like I want to say 6 times in my life, and every time I've loved it. So like I love Wicked, and I loved it this time. I just here's okay. Story time. This was not my first trip to London this year. I went to London in the summer when my mom was there for work and I crashed her trip. But when we were in London, we saw Wicked, and the woman who played Elphaba was life altering. Like actually the greatest performance I've ever seen in my entire life. It truly shook me to my very core. And the entire time, once I decided I was going back to London and my mom and my sister were coming with me, once that became a thing, I was checking religiously to make sure her name is Alexia, to make sure that Alexia was performing as Elphaba. And every time I checked, she was. And then I got there, and she was not. It was just like, I guess it was her off night. I don't know. But either way, it wasn't her. And that did bring it down for me just a little bit. I want to be clear. The person I saw as Elphaba was incredible, okay? Her voice was amazing. I understand to play Elphaba, you kind of just need an amazing voice, like just in general. So like there is that at play, but it was a fun night. It really was. I'm not gonna get into Wicked. It's Wicked. Like, it's Wicked. I do have a story though. So Wicked was our splurge. Okay, we had really good seats to Wicked. Anyone who's seen Wicked will know. It opens with this big party moment. There is confetti that shoots out of the stage. This confetti, in fact, do you want to know why I have it? Because it hit me directly in the chest. Like, I was hit right here by I felt it. Like, it hurt. It was forceful. I was blasted with confetti. I will say, was actually a very fun start to the show. But, yeah, I don't have a ton else to say about Wicked, honestly. Like, I really could go into a full thing about Wicked. I have been thinking about making a video ranking the songs in Wicked, and I might do that. But for now, I actually have surprisingly little to say about what I could consider my favorite musical of all time. We've reached my final day of musicals, and my matinee on Saturday was Mamma Mia. And here's the thing, Mamma Mia is mainly the show I went to for my mom. I knew if I wanted to convince her to join me for this experience, I needed a draw for her, and what entices a middle-aged white woman more than Mamma Mia? So we went to see Mamma Mia. My mom and my sister left at intermission. I stayed for the end. I had an amazing time. Mamma Mia is fun. Okay, I'd seen the movie a good few times, and it was just fun. Like, Mamma Mia is a fun musical. The songs were fun. The men were attractive. I'm not going to say who I found hot, actually, because I don't want to embarrass myself and be told that he's not hot. There were a couple men in there that I now follow on Instagram because I'm like, you were starting something that I need more of in my life. But either way, it was just really fun. I will say, the girl who played Sophie when I saw it was like the understudy. I assume just because it was a matinee and like maybe an off girl does matinees and like the main girl does the evenings. I don't know. I know a different girl did the matinee, and I don't know why she wasn't the main girl. I don't. She was so good. Like, she was also really cute. She was really tiny, and that filled me with affinity. But even so, like, she was so good. She sang so well. Obviously, the standout was the mom, but like, just all around, it was so good. I wish, actually, I have one complaint. I wish the grown men were just like a little hotter, like more like Silver Fox kind of vibes. They weren't not hot, but like I feel like it would have added something if they were. I don't know. The twinks were twinking, I'll say that. But like in general, it was just a fun time. I have been listening to the Mamma Mia soundtrack a lot since I got back. I think I've heard Dancing Queen literally every day at least once, probably more like 2 or 3 times per day since return. And it's just, I might need to listen to every ABBA song ever made. That might be the conclusion that I've come to. Alrighty, final musical. 7 out of 7 was Les Mis. I have seen Les Mis. I saw it when it was here, and I liked it a lot. However, maybe it was just, I don't want to say the caliber of the cast, because I'm sure when I saw it the first time the people were very good, but it was different the second time around. I don't know what was different. It was different. Like, there are songs that I've always loved from Les Mis, even before I'd seen the musical itself. Like, I'd heard I Dreamed a Dream at some point in my life, and it's just been in some, like, I listen to I Dream a Dream literally all the time. On My Own is a newer one. That one I didn't start to love till I saw the musical, but even so, in general, I don't think I appreciated how good the entire thing is. Like, all of the music was amazing. Also, I felt this way when I first saw it. Gavroche is my favorite character. Like, dead ass, I'm so serious. That child is my favorite character. I'm a ride or die for that kid. I already knew he was gonna die, and I cried when he died. I cried when he died. I cried when Eponine died. In my defense, because this was our last show, my mom, God bless her soul, decided to get us a bottle of champagne. And then, like, she pre-ordered the bottle of champagne and then forgot about it until someone came up to her, like, right before the show started. They were like, hey, we have your bottle of champagne. We'll put it aside for intermission. Like, you can come get it then. And she was like, great. We, and by we I mean mainly me, downed an entire bottle of champagne in intermission. I had 3 glasses of champagne in the span of about 15 minutes. And I had not eaten during that entire day. So I felt it very quickly, and it made Act 2 of Les Mis actually very enjoyable. Like, it's already very enjoyable. I would have had a great time regardless, but it gave it, like, a different level of enjoyment, because I was like, wait, this is so fun. Like, I'm just a little tipsy watching Jean Valjean carry an unconscious man across the sewers. Like, it was fun. It was great. The music is incredible. I don't actually, I feel like fun is not the word to describe Les Mis. It's a lot of things. I guess fun. It's not happy. I don't know. I did predict my mom was going to get very depressed, and I was right. She always gets depressed when she drinks with me, and sure enough, she did. But even so, I had a great time. I had a great time to Les Mis. I had a great time, really, at all the shows. This was number 2. I don't know if I mentioned that. This was number 2 of the week. My final rankings went at the bottom, from the bottom to top. Lion King, Mamma Mia, not Guys and Dolls, Phantom, Guys and Dolls, Wicked, Les Mis, Devil Wears Prada. This was incredible. It was, I will say this, in spite of it not being my favorite, it was the perfect closing show. Like, it's a classic. The music is excellent. The ballads are ballading. It's just, it was all around a moment. Anyway, yeah, that's all I got for you today. Thank you for listening to me ramble for what in my time has been around 30 minutes about musical theater. We'll see how much I cut it down to. But I had a great time. That's the moral of the story. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to comment your thoughts down below. Let me know how you feel. Let me know what your favorite musical is. Also, have you seen the Wicked movie? I haven't seen it yet. Who knows if I'll have seen it by the time this goes up. I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet, but I'll see it. Other than that, yeah. Thank you again for watching. Bye!